Hey everybody, we are back. It's episode 73 of the Alfie Whattam Technology Podcast. Thank you all for joining. As always, we are of course sponsored by welovealpha.com. If you're an engineering manager, a CTO, or you work in recruitment and you're looking to grow your software development team, then to hire the best software engineers on the market in the UK across Java, C#, Python, React, mobile, and more, go to welovealpha.com today. Today, I am joined by a special guest, Mr. Fernando. Fernando, could you just give us a little bit of an intro, mate, into who you are and what your background is, please?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. Well, Fernando, I'm originally from Argentina. It's been an 8-year journey here in London, and I am a technology director here at Globant.
Awesome. Okay, thanks for joining us, mate. It'd be really good to get your opinions, your perspective, your expertise into what's happening in the world of tech at the moment. So without further ado, let's go into the news. So beginning with the massive announcement, obviously, from our good friends over at Apple. They have revealed and released very soon some new products. So the iPhone 14 Pro and, of course, the Watch Ultra. So plenty of innovations, as always, with new Apple products. So just to give a high-level perspective, Apple's iPhone 14, it's got an emergency satellite connectivity. So in emergency situations where you don't have cell phone reception, you can now send texts. And of course, that ties into the car crash detection technology, which was all revealed at their launch event in the US, where if you're in a car accident, the phone can automatically detect that and can call for help, essentially. So the company's revealed 4 new versions of the new handset at its headquarters, with the audience attending in person for the first time since COVID. And also on top of the iPhone, they've got the Watch Ultra, which is their supercharged Apple Watch. And this comes with, once again, the car crash detection technology. It's got temperature sensors for tracking ovulation cycles and a new low power mode, which is great because whenever I've had Apple Watches in the past, they run out of power pretty quickly, as well as a bunch of other features. But they're the new bands, they're the new Apple Watches, and the new iPhone 14, as I mentioned, is coming in a number of different varieties with a much better camera as well, as per always, with a new 12 megapixel camera, which is absolutely fantastic if you compare that to what it was just a couple of years ago. According to Apple as well, iPhone users took more than 3 trillion photos just in the past year, which is absolutely insane. And obviously the iPhone 14 Pro is a much better version of that, as well as some new AirPods as well. So lots more products in the ecosystem of Apple. Appreciate there's quite a lot to unpack there, but Fernando, what's your perspective on kind of Apple's new releases?
Oh yeah, well, it's well, first of all, you know, the number of 3 trillions of photos. Yeah. I'm just wondering, you know, if they're actually seeing our photos, right? That's what the first thing came to my mind, is that, wow, these guys are controlling pretty much everything. But yeah, at the same time, you know, it's amazing how there's such an amount of image and information that everyone is just, you know, taking photos for everything and training their models. So definitely the machine learning they have in there, it must be super smart. You know, I'm not very impressed, to be honest, around the phone itself, right? Okay. It's just a little bit of more battery and more of this, more of that. The camera's still amazing, and definitely the ecosystem is what is really interesting. At least for me, you know, having all these connected, the headphones, then the watch, and definitely the satellites without the SIM anymore is a big change in the industry. I don't know what they're gonna say, what the Huawei's, the Samsungs, the other brands they're gonna do about it, because they need to kind of make the same agreements with the companies that somehow they have this monopoly with Apple. But that's my view. I'm really excited anyway. I'm really Apple fan. And I have everything except the watch today, because I couldn't charge it, which is a problem, and it's a good thing on the new watch, which is more battery. Yeah,
I think you're absolutely right in that there's nothing revolutionary here. It's just kind of constant little innovations, but that's what typically happens with each iteration of the product and that sort of thing, right? I believe the Apple Watch Ultra is meant to be more targeted at people that are doing extreme sports and climbing mountains and that sort of thing. It can go underwater, it can go in many different temperatures and in freezing cold conditions and that sort of thing. So probably not like the stuff for day-to-day people to purchase, but you know, they've obviously got a lower budget, you know, model for that sort of thing as well, right? Yeah,
exactly. No, well, it's not my case. I'm not on a super sports, you know, adventure, but the look, it's really nice. It's very polished and very. It was a sector that was not targeted before, clearly. But again, you know, it's the battery, having a long battery as an Apple Watch user is definitely a good thing. And I said that it perhaps will be the reason why the people will start changing the old version to the new one, regardless if they are adventurers or not, or they do extreme sports or not. So definitely business-wise, it's another of those products that would be fantastic for them.
One thing I really like about the new AirPods is me and my wife, we get our AirPods mixed up all the time, and with the new ones you can have a little kind of engraving of like an emoji, and you can have it custom to you, which is a very small thing, but you know, quite a big thing if you think about it. It stops people getting their AirPods mixed up and that sort of thing.
Yeah, the personalization piece is super interesting. The other day I was chatting with a friend about this opportunity to engraving your name or an emoji, or now the memojis. Or why they don't do it with the phones? You know, why they don't just put the same thing in the back of the phone? So you know, it would prevent, you know, when the phone is still stalled. You know which one is your phone or not. You can recognize it easily. But it's a good thing to perhaps it's the next iteration of the iPhone 15. You know, they don't do more battery, just they do this engraving. I don't know.
Okay, cool. Only a matter of time before most of us upgrade. I imagine. I certainly need to upgrade my iPhone soon. It's like 2 models old now, so I think I need to look at the new one. One thing I do like about it is the always on display. I'm not sure if you've seen this, but you can set it to a low power mode, so the screen is essentially always on when you're looking at it, and it's always showing the time and any other important widgets, which in itself is something new. I haven't really seen that before in a phone, where the screen is basically always on and always showing you important information. I don't think that's something that's really been mainstream yet, has it?
I don't think so. I think that this is brand new, even though the Kindle has been having this kind of technology for many years. But I haven't seen that. Apart from stopping me to tapping on the phone all the time and seeing if it's a new notification or not, I don't really know what's the usage of that. You know, apart from like, okay, for the time, I can check my watch. A notification, I can check my watch. I don't know, but clearly is a new fun stuff.
Okay, cool. Well, look, keeping on the topic of big tech, away from Apple and over to Uber. So Uber Eats and Nuro sign a 10-year deal to do robot food delivery in Cali and Texas. This is pretty exciting. So these delivery pods are big enough; they're going to drive on the street. You've got you know, sensors. I imagine that self-driving technology up there. So you're going to soon be able to have your takeout delivered by a driverless delivery pod after the company signed this decade-long deal with the autonomous driving startup Nuro. So today's announcement is the combination of 4 years of start and stop negotiations between the two companies. Uber wanted to use Nuro's vehicles to make deliveries back in Houston in 2019, but the plans never panned out. But now the two companies have struck a decade-long deal to expand the robot deliveries to more customers than ever before. This is pretty cool in my opinion, but what do you think of this, Fernando?
Oh, amazing. You know, we can argue about how good is Uber or not, and what the impact is creating in different sectors. But definitely they're accelerating change, right? That they're adding things like, well, now these robots that they will be able to deliver food or groceries. and they not just spend, I think it was saying they spent like the last 4 years since 2018, 2019, trying to make this deal and trying to get the agreement with the government. So it took a proper 4 years to agree on that. But now that they're expanding the service in other 4 cities. You know, it's in Mountain View and 3 more. And for me, Uber, it has this unique skill of taking something and making that like worldwide, super fast, which is for me, at least, is so interesting how this guy thinks and work. I don't know what you think.
Well, I think it's interesting and fairly, I suppose, obvious that the Uber Eats were the ones to kind of really to do this, as opposed to like Deliveroo or Just Eat, because Uber Eats has obviously got the Uber component. It's got the connection with the cars. It's got the the power to the connections to do the self-driving technology and make that work a little bit quicker than the other companies that do more like bike deliveries and that sort of thing and that. But I mean, like, do you feel, I mean, self-driving technology, it's only getting better and better. Do you feel in a couple of years like this will be the norm? You'll order your food and then a robot car shows up at your house with the pizza?
Well, I don't know. I was thinking literally last night, how do we work in London?
Yeah,
as the street is so narrow, and today we have struggled to have bikes and cars and buses, and just yet another thing. Perhaps a drone is a better option, but I don't think it will be, at least on Europe, in this continent, kind of a massive. I might be wrong, but I think which is the most interesting piece for me, at least, is they're taking quite a lot of data of what people is buying, where the people is located, and they're understanding, how cities moves, which is a step of this smart cities concept, which for me is amazing.
I've had drone people before on the show talking about autonomous drones delivering food, and there are lots of interesting trials of this happening. There's one in the States which just expanded to 100,000 customers, where people can order food deliveries right now from a drone in a fairly sizable area. I think it's in North Carolina, I believe, and that's working really, really well. It's setting up loads of restaurants to it, and the way it works is the drone goes over, and then a piece of string kind of goes down and launches the food down. Because if the drone landed, you could just steal the drone and that sort of thing, right? The car's an interesting one as well, though, because I wonder how the food gets delivered. Does a door open and it slides out with the food on it? I mean, it's an interesting one. I wonder how the food actually gets delivered itself.
Well, you have the human factor in there, right? Like someone comes in running, and then all of a sudden, when the door goes open, takes the food that it was not theirs. I think there's the human beings were not yet prepared for these kind of things, but clearly these guys has been having a really good success in terms of that, in terms of delivering. Again, I don't know how Europe is prepared for that, but it's delivery by non-humans. It's human beings is still a question in my head. But clearly, there are really good experiments out there. That's the most interesting thing.
I agree with you. It's going to take time for the public to adopt to this idea, certainly. I suppose the interesting thing is that if they can figure out food delivery, and that's a good place to start with it, then what about when Amazon, starts to utilize this technology, and all your Amazon Prime deliveries are delivered by a robot? What impact is that going to have on people that are working as taxi drivers, or even Uber drivers, or truck drivers delivering products and services and that sort of thing? I mean, it's going to replace a lot of jobs, isn't it, if that really happens and goes ahead?
Yeah, I think, as I was saying before, these cities, like more mature cities, more mature countries, perhaps it will be a change in terms of where the people focuses. But there's so many other countries that they don't have this service yet, and they can learn quite a lot of what type. People can become more entrepreneurial in terms of, they have the vehicle ready to deliver whatever product they come in. So I think that's an opportunity in these kind of underdeveloped economies or growing economies. But yet, again, I don't think more mature countries are yet to ready to behave when this kind of thing comes, or animals. You imagine it in your drone when the string comes up and
a bird catches it or something. My little dog would probably jump on it and trying to take it. No, I think you're spot on. I mean, like, it's only a matter of time until some drunk person tries to climb inside the driverless car or grab onto the string of the drone. Or I mean, and British people in particular. I mean, as a Brit myself, I can speak on behalf of my people. We're not the most sensible when it comes to that sort of thing a lot of the time. So disasters will happen, but I suppose on the flip side, disasters will still happen with people involved as well. So it's not there's always going to be issues when it comes to that sort of thing. I suppose on my earlier point about tech replacing those jobs, you could also make the argument that it's going to obviously continue to create more jobs, in the lines of development and technology. Obviously, it's pretty difficult to get a truck driver to become a Java engineer. I mean, that's not an overnight thing, is it? So a difficult problem to solve, right?
But in this last, let's say after pandemic, I think I've seen more low-code platforms than ever seen in my previous career, and that's an opportunity to everyone. For kids, to people who had another formation, another education, to playing with graphing interfaces that create codes behind that. So perhaps if the designers of this platform are smart enough and they create such an IDE, an API, and different low-code platform, think about that. It's a really good opportunity for them to test different markets, different countries, different areas.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. Well, look, going on to the last article of the episode. So fake websites are posing as crypto exchanges to drain victims' wallets. So your top search results could now be predatory, says researchers. So cyber criminals are reportedly using fake versions of popular sites such as Coinbase, such as Gemini, Kraken, and MetaMask in an attempt to drain the Bitcoin wallets of victims dry. According to Netscope, criminal groups are using SEO techniques, which involve an extensive network of bots posting links to phishing pages on other sites, mainly blogs, to boost their rankings in search engines such as Google. And in many instances, the researchers claim these fake websites are ranking even better than the legitimate sites being copied. So in terms of the campaign itself, when the victim clicks on the malicious link, they are greeted by a relatively realistic looking imitation site of those platforms. And using the popular crypto wallet MetaMask as an example, Netscope researchers said users would be directed to either download now or log in, where the site would try and dupe users out of their crypto wallet of their username and password. So obviously I have loads of Web3, of crypto, blockchain experts on the show, and they give mixed opinions about crypto being safe or not. And obviously it's one of those things at the moment where all the cyber criminals are going to jump all over and use it as an opportunity because it's so hot. But what do you make of this article, Fernando, and what's happening with this?
Well, as blockchain in general, Web3 and everything, crypto is still immature, let's say, and the user experience is not that mature, advanced. Definitely, we need to be careful, and for everyone who listens and knows about it, even knowing about this, you can enter into any sort of a scam or Ponzi scheme or fake, because it's just too many things. Not regulated, and these kind of things, make a huge difference. By the way, I'm not sure if it should be regulated or not. But anyway, the point is, we need to be careful. We need to be careful on any link. I became like really paranoid about the fact of, that in Safari you don't see the URL.
Oh, really? I don't use Safari. I'm on Chrome, but
okay, it's kind of hidden. So you see the domain, or the main piece of it, but sometimes you don't see the full URL. And I'm kind of double clicking time to time, and checking like I'm on the right website or not. And in regard to crypto, I use more Chrome for that reason. But there's just too many extensions and GitHub projects that you can download and test different things. So it's worth to check, definitely. The other thing that is happening, that now this week is the merge.
The Ethereum.
Ethereum, exactly. I just seen so many fake accounts and Twitter's accounts that are offering help on staking your Ethereum or helping to move Ethereum 1 to Ethereum 2. All this stuff is just a lie. So, it's worth to mention that, there are many things going on this week, so be careful as well.
Yeah, we did a blockchain panel 1 or 2 days ago, actually, on the podcast about the changes with Ethereum and that sort of thing. And one really interesting thing which came from it was, at the moment, part of the big problem with crypto is the amount of energy that it uses. And obviously we're going through a global energy crisis right now, so not the best time to be doing that sort of thing. But the new Ethereum update reduces its energy consumption by like 99.9%, which is obviously pretty groundbreaking. So when I hear stuff like that, it's really positive, right, in terms of the future of crypto and blockchain in general.
Yeah. Well, in terms of the proof of moving from proof of work to proof of stake, clearly it's a great opportunity to save energy. But at the same time, there is, well, Ethereum 1, it will become like another usage.
Yeah.
Clearly, I don't know how much about energy and that topic, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But I understand that there is the countries and the regulations are kind of looking into these kind of variables to understand the usage of that, to understand if it's safe or not. And they don't not just because it's part of the gossips and part of the fake news at the same time. So I think it's very important that at least people that is not technical is seeing that then energy is not that bad, because there's quite a lot of fake news around blockchain in general, and Ethereum and Bitcoin and terrorism and so many other things mixed on that. But yeah, I think it's a really good thing for the technology, even though it's still in really early stages in a way.
Awesome. Do you think there's anything that people can be doing to avoid getting on these fake sites? Because if they're you're searching Coinbase, if it's coming up number 1 on Google, what do you think people can do to make sure they're not going to lose all their crypto when it comes to scam sites like this?
Well, again, check the URL.
Yeah.
First of all, the URL, emails, Twitter accounts are kind of the 3 main sources of scams and phishing. Just double checking that, and at the same time, there is a bunch of good sources trying to use all of them, most of the time, experiment under your own risk, but definitely going and using, this is what I do. And normally I try to experiment with very small amount of coins or just a separate wallet. There's another recommendation using second or third wallets completely disconnected to your network, so then it cannot be tracked at the same time.
Cold wallet, yeah. It's on Twitter, it's on Google, it's on emails, like you said. Checking the URL, so important. It can be so similar to the actual one. It can be like a single letter difference, so worth triple checking. Even on YouTube, there was a story which I talked about on the podcast the other day, where a fake crypto event with Tim Cook made it onto the front page of YouTube, where Tim was talking about crypto from an event years ago, I think, and they edited it in a way where it seemed like he was promoting a coin. It was bizarre. I'm not sure if it was a deep fake or if it was just chopped up in a specific way, but it made it to the front page of YouTube, and I imagine a lot of people would have either bought that coin or fell for the scam or whatever it was. I'm unaware of the details, but you've got to be super careful, don't you? Especially when it comes to something like crypto, which is so hot and is an opportunity for scammers to really jump people's money.
Oh, terrible, terrible. It's a topic by itself, and perhaps we can talk about it for an hour, but you can today, from a series of photos or pictures, recreate a completely real human, photorealistic, you can even notice, and you can mimic the voice with AI today. So it's like, wow, this is changing, and we need to be even more careful if the person in front of us is real or not. It's amazing, but it's creating this other side, dark side of the information. So let's see what happens.
Absolutely, man. Well, look, thank you so much, Fernando, for coming on. It was awesome to get your perspective, your point of view, your opinions in terms of what's happening in the world of tech at the moment. So it'd be awesome to do this again, perhaps in a couple of months, get you back on the show. That'd be really cool. But just want to thank everybody for watching episode 73, I believe. Make sure you're subscribed on Spotify if you're not already, and make sure you're coming back for almost daily episodes at the moment. So Fernando, thanks again, and thanks to everybody for watching. Thank you.
Okay, bye.